You're listening to Pop This, the podcast where two women talk about everything pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen and Andrea Warner.
I have to share with you my holiday secret. Not like I love this movie, because that is like not a secret anymore.
That is not a secret. That is 5 years of it being
5
not
years
a secret.
of this being my favorite. So nobody else can see this, but you can see what I'm holding in my hand is a giant Toblerone.
What could only be described as like the length of a 1-month-old baby.
Yeah, it's big, and it's about the same
And
weight.
it's
It feels
about,
like
heavy, yeah.
Yeah, I could pass it around, but I think everyone knows what this is. So I want to tell you what I'm going to do with this, because I do this every year. I have a very kind coworker who always gives this as the present, and I learned what to do with this. And what it is, I hide it in the house.
Uh-huh.
And then...
Wait for mice?
No. And then in like April,
Oh.
I open the drawer, and there's a Toblerone in there.
That's a great...
gift that keeps on giving.
And
Honestly,
I need to tell people this, because right now it's very excessive time for a lot of people around the holiday. The giant Toblerone, easily I could have like just knocked off, for sure. I wouldn't even think about it. Just sitting there, just probably
It's a
watching
meal.
the holiday.
Sure,
Again,
yeah.
eating
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
But I did do this last year, and I did find it in March. And it was so exciting
Yeah.
to find the giant Toblerone.
You know, I really like it when our present selves take care of our future selves in ways that we don't anticipate. It's
That's
such
a beautiful
gift.
way to say it.
Such a gift.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, for those of you out there who are also wondering about what you just said, like future self maybe, ate a lot over the holidays and has finally kind of got her proper eating habits back by March, only to have them sidelined by the largest Toblerone known to man.
That's when you need it, is March. You
Yeah.
open up a drawer of Toblerone.
Especially for holiday chocolate. Oh, your Toblerone.
Oh, wow. Did you hear the weight
If
of
everyone
that?
heard the weight of that, that's great. No, but like you need sort of like if Valentine's Day isn't really your thing, you got to wait till Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mean, who's got time? We could be
No
all
one.
dead at
No, yeah.
Easter.
That's, yeah.
Keep
So-
that 750 grams of chocolate in your drawer
Yeah.
for just like emergency future surprises.
Yeah, you could just, I've kind of tried to do that with money. You know how you like find $5 in your pocket and it just feels like gold for some reason?
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, compared to so when I was a kid, we did not have money at all. So there was never a spare $5 and I did not know where that was going. But as I've gotten to be like more of a sort of like a low middle class adult,
Congrats.
I know, honestly,
Aspirational.
It was pretty aspirational. But like I found, I went through a bunch of my purses. Like I have a box full of like bags and purses, and I went through them all before Christmas in an attempt to sort of like just figure out what I really need to keep and what I don't. And I found so much money.
Oh.
Like just like a bunch of
Wow.
toonies, a bunch of loonies. I found a $10 bill
$10
that was
bill?
like an emergency
I feel like I would
taxi
just
ration.
always know where a $10 bill is. Like I would know I would have that on me.
Well, because I try to keep an emergency little bit of money in every purse in case I end up in a situation where, for whatever reason, I've lost my credit cards or my
Yeah.
ID or
Do you remember
my
in Dirty
phones.
John where she had $150,000 in cash?
That is not what my situation is.
in
Yeah.
a duffel bag in the
A
closet?
duffel bag in the closet.
Just in case what?
When you gotta just
I
sit down,
honestly,
you know?
that's a dream scenario.
Well,
but,
yes.
Yeah, no, mine's $10 in a purse.
To each their own.
I'm Andrea Warner.
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
You're listening to Pop This.
And we are just going to talk. We're not going to battle it out this time. We're just going to talk about the
I
holiday.
still would like to, I still need some things. I still have some feelings. I've watched
Sure,
it again
sure.
for the millionth time now,
Yeah.
I feel like, because directly of this podcast. I'm still not 100% sold, but I cried extra this year.
Which is weird because Cameron Diaz can't.
Don't even get me started.
I just also want to point out we haven't quite introduced our guest, but
Yay!
But we're both wearing our finest Nancy Myers black turtlenecks.
I
See,
swear,
I knew.
it's like you guys coordinated.
Yes, it is.
It's wild.
I knew what time it was. Nancy in the house. Yeah, lean in. Here we go.
We are so thrilled to welcome Kerri Donaldson. Kerri Donaldson is a comedian, improviser, sketch performer, writer, Vancouverite, and actual twin. She's traveled across Canada and the U.S. with her comedy and performs locally on various comedy shows around town, along with her comedy twin and brunch side piece, Allie and Twistle. Not her actual twin. She is an actual twin. Kerri is the twin. She performs improv and sketch monthly with the all-female powerhouse Femme de Force known as Nasty Women.
It's true.
Thank you, Kerri.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you.
So excited. I am also so excited that this is the first time you've watched The Holiday.
I know. I don't know how I escaped it. I'm usually right into
Yeah, it only
those
came out in
things.
2006.
Yeah, right. I had
You
a
have to
lot
really
of
been
time.
avoiding it.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like I saw it a bunch on like Netflix, and I always just went, "Is today the day?" And it just never was.
Well, you really only have a window of, like, I mean, it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, I mean, I guess it is.
Yeah, and you watch
Yeah.
it from either like November 15th to like January 2nd.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
about
it's
it.
Shut it down.
And and no one needs anything after that.
No, we're done.
No, because then when it turns into the summer months, you turn into Something's Gotta Give.
If you're only on a Nancy Myers.
It's complicated.
Yes, it's complicated.
You know, you've got seasons with Nancy.
Right, that's
and
what I'm saying. You do have, and
important.
there's a summery kind of feel to that Cape Cod house, right?
The word complicated in The Holiday is so overused in a way that only a slightly bland, beautiful woman thinks she's complicated, but is actually basic as heck.
Which one are we talking about, or all of them?
Cameron Diaz.
Oh, okay.
The number, like, honestly,
She's
made
a
it.
successful businesswoman.
I made it
Yeah.
a drinking game. The
Oh.
number of
There it
times she tried to describe herself as complicated, the situation was complicated, the word complicated, and I feel like I was just like,
It's more of a Nancy Myers word, really.
I know, I'm blaming
Then
the
it's-
script.
yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
She's guilty.
But I
of
was just
using
like, this is one of the things that I hate about this character. And Cameron Diaz really does her best with this material. Anyway, I may be jumping ahead. I'm so sorry.
You are. Do
But
we need
I can't help it.
do we need to give the summary again?
Yeah, for newbies.
Yeah, for the
noobs.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
people who strangely haven't seen this yet. The Holiday is a 2006 romantic comedy film written, produced, and directed by Nancy Myers, co-produced by Bruce A. Block. It was
That
filmed
sounds like a fake name, by
Right?
the way.
Maybe
Bruce A.
uppy.
Block,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I think I meant Nancy Myers. It was filmed
see you.
in both California and England and stars Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz as Iris and Amanda, two lovelorn women from opposite sides of the Atlantic Ocean who arrange a home exchange to escape heartbreak during the Christmas holiday season. Jude Law and Jack Black were cast as the film's leading men, Graham Miles and Eli Wallach, Shannon Sossamon, Edward Burns, and Rufus Sewell playing key supporting roles. Wouldn't it be? But California's on the Pacific, but I guess if you fly the other way.
You have to fly the Atlantic way.
Yeah, you have to fly the Atlantic way.
Yeah, you
Okay.
don't really get it. If you
No.
went backwards,
Sounds
it would
weird,
be
though.
so much harder to get. It'd be a much longer trip to England.
It would be. And a very upsetting moment recently with Jack Black being interviewed on the red carpet for Jumanji 2.
Oh.
Are we all
Instant
familiar with
classic.
this moment?
No.
Oh,
Which
are you?
moment?
I know that he forgot he was in
He
the
was
holiday.
asked which was his favorite Christmas movie he's ever, like, that he loves. And he's like, oh, I guess Elf. And they're like, oh, you didn't even want to mention the one you were in. He went, I was in one?
Oh, no.
I am baffled by this because I do not think that Jack Black gets cast as a romantic lead very frequently.
Yeah.
And one would imagine that he would remember.
I mean, that was a
Especially
pivot for
that,
him.
and he gets to like kiss Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
And apparently was dating Shannon Sossamon, who was just
Right?
extremely beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He looked embarrassed, if that's
Yeah.
of
Okay.
any
Okay.
comfort.
I mean, I guess, like, I'm trying to think about, like, if I was, like, going from project to project to project, if someone said to me,
He has an eclectic career.
well, and honestly, though, if someone said to me, don't you remember that article you wrote in 2006
Yeah.
about this person? I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I do forget. Like,
Yeah.
not that writing a weekly piece about a different thing is the same as being on a movie set for
Some
3
men
months.
are surprised that they're fathers. You know, someone just shows up at the door, right?
Right?
I mean,
That's there
you know
go.
what?
Yeah.
Totally true.
Checks
Totally
out.
valid point.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is really exciting for us because we normally, for the last 4 years, we have fought about Love Actually versus The Holiday.
Ooh.
We did we separated them this year. We did a live episode for Love Actually at the Rio, and that came out last week. And we had such fun time. And then we decided we're going to do The Holiday for New Year's Eve. And so this is the first time we're not like officially like fisticuffing.
Well, which is fair because the movie does end on New Year's Eve.
It's totally
Right?
fair. No,
So
I think it's great.
it's a total New Year's movie.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
works.
and I totally agree.
Yeah.
I just think like it's so nice for us to not be fisticuffing specifically over the two films, and then to bring a third into our
Yes.
diabolical twosome.
Exactly.
It's really lovely, especially having never seen the film. What were your thoughts?
Ooh, you know what? Going into it, I didn't read any synopsis. I just wanted to go in raw, just fresh canvas. I wanted to explore the space in my own where I'm at in life.
Right.
And I'm
For
actually
a movie that's over 10 years old.
10
but
years
you didn't even
old,
pick
right?
up anything over
Nothing
the years?
at all.
Wow.
Surprisingly,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was just an impressionable newborn to this film.
And you do watch rom-coms.
I do.
Like you talk about them on your
I
podcast.
actually do have a podcast where we exclusively talk rom-coms, and
Yeah.
this one never came up yet.
This is kind of a glaring...
So I would like to apologize. I
To
hear
the
it.
rom-com convention, or is
Yes,
there one?
yes. I
There
missed
should
the
be.
invite.
There
Yeah.
should be the rom-con con that was
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
of like
It's
happy
called-
endings for so long.
It's called Meet Cute.
I would attend that.
Right?
I would
so
too.
hard.
I would
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
be
Okay.
there.
Yes.
And needless to say, just to make it about me and my personal life, I'm currently going through a breakup. So I was I was ready for this. You know, I was like, let's go.
I did not know that when I asked you. I'm sorry.
How dare you? Yes, I took it very
It's
personally.
a bit of
I
a
was like-
quiz. I'd like to invite you onto the show. We have a list of things.
Yeah, I
you
took a
recently given
personality
birth?
test.
Are you
Yeah.
breaking up?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
What's your hot take on love?
Yeah.
Where are you at on
What's your
that?
hot take on love?
So, as a woman scorned, I
So you felt
approached
more
this.
in the Kate camp or the Cameron, or was it a...
You know what? I was kind of I didn't really like Kate's character.
Okay.
I found her very I hate a sad woman. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm just tired of that
Yeah,
trope,
yeah.
you know? So it's just kind of like she bummed me out a lot. Cameron Diaz was complicated, and I related to that.
I wish I had alcohol in this room.
I
That's
found
all
the
have
most
to say.
complicating thing about her was the shoe wear she chose, but...
Yes, I mean,
Frequently.
and her ability
Yeah.
to run in those shoes in
Honestly,
any season was
I could not.
staggering.
The fact that she's like Bambi.
Yes.
Yeah.
She goes from faltering all over in spiked stilettos to being able to run what can only be described as like a 2-minute mile.
Yeah.
By the end, like, it doesn't matter that she's fallen in love and that she's cried. She has literally grown wings out of her ankles.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
That is the truest triumph of this film. Never mind the fact that she gets out of a mode of transportation to then run. I was like,
1,000%.
Just you're in a cab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just abandon a transportation device. But anyway,
What a show off.
right?
Yes,
So I was like, yeah, we get it. Okay, you've got it all. Yes,
Yeah.
ladies, we can have it all now. But you know what? I didn't hate this film. I'll say that. I didn't hate
Well, there's
it.
a glowing review.
There's things
hey?
I hate.
Wow.
And this, I did not hate. Compared to Love Actually, which I truly despise,
Yep.
I found it a slightly better version of Love Actually
Oh.
in the sense that at least these women had something in the end that wasn't completely depressing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm so tired of the trope of just these women are scorned by men. They escape men, but lo and behold, their fairy god men come and teach them, the true meaning of Christmas. And then also they land in another relationship,
Well, to
I'm
be
tired.
fair, Kate Winslet wasn't in a relationship, except in her mind.
That's fair. That is fair.
I mean, when the guy announces he's engaged,
I feel like she was like, oh, that's a bit of a...
whoa,
That's
I
gonna
thought
put a
we were
damper on
dating.
things.
Has he ever come to your house? No, but that's not the point.
But that doesn't count.
That doesn't
you
count.
know?
Honestly, I think if a man is telling you constantly, I can't wait to see you in your red bikini, I
Right.
feel like he is, at least his penis is in a relationship with her.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not maybe nothing else, but he's in tip first.
There's
Absolutely. Thank you
there's
for saying
definitely there's definitely some mixed signals
Absolutely.
going on.
Or at least a conversation with
Yes.
HR
Yes.
because that's
Oh my
inappropriate
God,
work
this
conversation.
is, yeah, he's made his way through the office because his new wife
Right?
is in the circulation department.
How is
I know.
nobody
Oh.
like in the office like that one girl who's just like, what is deal? I never mind the fact that I forget this actor's name. But
Rufus Sewell?
Rufus.
Yeah,
He
I've
just
always liked
looks
him.
skeevy
Oh, I
to me.
hate him.
He
I hate
looks
him a lot.
him.
he looks like I don't know, like
Do you remember that amazing movie Cold Comfort Farm? Did you ever see that?
no.
No, what is that?
Oh, it's Kate Beckinsale, one of her
yeah.
first parts. I think she's only like 20. And she is supposed to inherit some. It's like an old English novel, like much
Okay.
loved, but and weird and eccentric, of course. And she needs some money because it's like set in 1920 or 30 or something. And the only way she can get money is out of this part of her family that live on this ridiculous farm in the middle of nowhere. So she has to go out and see them out there and explain her situation and try and get money out of them. But she spiffs up the whole place. It's like a whole makeover. It's so funny. Anyway, the brooding.
It's your favorite. It's just like it's property makeover.
It's a property makeover, and it's English, and the brooding guy, but he plays it in a funny way.
Okay.
Is Rufus Sewell.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh.
But anyway, highly recommended. Boy, this is like toward the end here. I can say that again. But Cold Comfort Farm is the name of it.
I'm
You
in.
will love it.
I'm in.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
It is.
I'm in.
Rocco.
I mean, in terms of sort of, it does. I mean, yeah, so I am the one who loves Love Actually, and
I won't judge you.
No, I mean it's
I do.
fine.
Good
Judge
for
me.
you.
It's fine. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of reasons why I love it, but everyone's just gonna have to go listen to last week's episode to figure that out. What I do think this film definitely has a leg up on Love Actually is Jude Law's character literally states, "Call me old-fashioned, but I don't think it's okay to have sex with unconscious women."
Oh,
And I was like,
I
you know
flagged
what?
that right away.
You know what? Good work, Jude Law. Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
2006.
I mean, look, I know that's cookies. Like we shouldn't have to hand out cookies for basic rules around consent. But
You sent me a trailer of a new movie
oh my God, so great.
with Kerri Mulligan.
Uh-huh.
That is about men taking drunk women home from the bar.
It sure is.
So I feel that Jude Law got a message that just hasn't been shared very much.
Well, it's a message I feel that like actually has been shared widely, but we continue to sort of like be like it's okay to just have it's okay to like sort of remove people's like ability to give a clear, consensual, enthusiastic consent. And I remember Sachi Cool wrote that great piece like 3 or 4 years ago now for BuzzFeed about the number of times she's been roofied. People who have like, and it's at least one bartender, or the number of times people have like men have attempted to get her so drunk she can't properly provide consent. And the way that she reframed that was all about like lowering barriers to consent so that people don't have to worry about hearing a strong no. And that actually, for me in like whenever that was, 2013, 2014, it really reframed
Such
my
a different
brain
time.
because I grew up on a totally different like, oh, if you want to loosen up and have fun,
Panty remover.
Yeah,
yes,
that's literally
That's
what I
literally
think.
what alcohol is called.
Yeah, was gin referred
Yeah,
to?
yeah, like
lovingly, colloquially.
Yeah.
no, and it's like, and I just really like, it was her reframing of it for me that made me like, I really can't watch a lot of things that I used to watch now. And yeah, I was just
But
like,
throwing that
fair.
line in is so depressing because it endears us to him.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Oh,
Like, it
you're
does.
right.
It
See?
did.
What a gentleman.
It did. It totally
What a
did. I mean,
gentleman.
also when he put on his glasses, I was like,
Oh yeah, I was
When he
like,
cried?
he can get it.
I'm here for that.
He
Oh,
can get
yeah.
it.
No, I know.
Anytime he wants.
Young Jude Law, dreamy.
The
Dreamy.
talented Mr. Ripley?
Oh, I love that.
Oh.
Love it so much. I love it so much. Yeah, no, I know. I know he's a bit of a dirtball in real life, but I love it. So this movie I have hated for a long time, Kerri, just to let you know.
Thank you for
And
sharing.
I super hate Amanda's storyline. I have found Iris's storyline just because it does focus so much more on a like a non-romantic relationship love. Like I like the relationship between her and the elderly man and how they.
Yeah, I found that more interesting.
I would love that to be a whole movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting thing that they do in this film, and what Nancy Meyers does in this film is she actually like makes space for like non-romantic love and acknowledges it as being as fundamentally important.
Yeah.
Maybe not as, but I think she at least gives the idea that it can be as important and as vital and restorative as like, you know, a platonic love and a romantic love are on equal footing, I think, here. So that's really nice. And I like that I don't like much of how typically women in Nancy Meyers films are directed to act. That's not my favorite. I am still working through my feelings around that because typically I find them to be like just this Diane Keaton sort of like extreme screaming.
They're a lot.
Yeah.
Hapless sort of thing.
Very neurotic, yeah.
The neurotic, like, I mean, and the thing is, like, I don't know. I guess it's a hard thing for me, and I haven't really worked through that yet. And I might never, because this might not be my
unfortunately
kind of character.
identify so much with neurotic women in movies.
I think that's why I hate it, because I'm just like,
I know. Like, if there's
Come
like
on,
a
girl.
tiny thing to overthink,
Yeah.
I'm on.
Yeah.
I'm in. I will
I'm
take
right there
this
with them, just,
thing.
like, overthinking
Yeah,
it.
there's no possible way I could ever be really happy because it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's for everyone else.
Yes.
So thank you. I feel like we're in some kind of session here. And
Yeah, right? I know. It's like, this is a safe space, right?
Yes, thank you.
'Cause-
And when I also liked how Nancy Meyers played with the conventions of the rom-com we were talking about, when the filmmaker says you keep playing the best friend, but you're the leading lady.
Yeah.
I do like that. That's one of my favorite parts of this film.
I mean,
is-
that is a really. I hope Judy Greer didn't see that. So.
Right? Where was Judy in this?
I don't know.
It was the other one was here though. What's her name?
Catherine Hahn.
Catherine
Yes,
Hahn, the
yes.
other best
The
friend,
other-
right?
the
I
other
swear
best
they
friend.
take turns. They're sitting there in the
I
casting
know,
room,
I know.
like, Judy, this is for you.
This one's
So
take this
is
one.
the point that he would have met someone else and went, "You're literally the best friend.
Yeah.
You are living the life that is yours. It's not quite, you know."
Yeah.
And he was so right because Kate Winslet had won an Academy Award.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a very true story.
It's actually biographical. That's what we didn't realize.
That's what we didn't realize.
Yeah.
She was in between her first and second husband at the time.
Yeah,
So
you know
she
how
was
it
really
is.
gearing in towards that.
That can happen.
Yeah.
Is there, so you said the sadness of Kate's character doesn't appeal to you.
Bummer.
What do you think about Amanda's storyline?
The problem is I didn't necessarily identify with her either. Like I found like she created her own problems. I was like, she can't cry. Like I get that we're supposed to feel sad for her. And there's, you know, she has her backstory with the divorce and stuff like that. Like
But you know what?
it was
Honest-
sad. But...
Even last night, I was making a note to myself. I was like, so her parents aren't even dead?
No, and that's what I thought too. That's literally what I thought
This
too.
was my note to myself.
I was like,
I don't know,
divorce
dude.
is like, you know,
Yeah,
come on, my
no,
parents
sorry.
are divorced. I cry every day in the shower, you know? Unrelated.
Yeah.
It just feels good.
I was just like, oh, and I'm kind of glad that they juxtapose that with a little bit later, she finds out that Jude Law's wife is dead, and he has these 2 half-orphaned children.
Right?
And I kind of, I take a small amount of pleasure in that because of trauma.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, well, okay. Also, we get to see Jude Law cry, which is
It honestly
hot.
was
Like-
something I didn't even know was a thing for me, a quirk. But again, it did something. It's confusing me too.
Yeah.
This is a safe space, right? I just want to reiterate.
yeah.
Okay, good.
You're good.
Yes.
Yeah, that was intriguing to me on a level. But it was interesting when she first encounters the children. She's like, "Oh no, are you married?" Of
Yeah.
course, and he's like, "No." And then she was like, "Oh, are you divorced?" And it's interesting that they chose to have him be a widower. I just feel like again they're just like for some reason we like him more as
Yes.
a widower versus having just divorced his wife. I feel like that's always a trope where it's he lost his love and now he's
because we congratulate single men for raising children and we punish single women for raising children.
certainly
Yeah, I know,
yes.
I know.
Honestly,
Certainly.
when he gives his speech about how like he's just like it's so much for him, and he has to like he has a cow, and he like is learning to sew and stuff. I'm just like,
wow.
Like, I mean, I guess talk to a lot of other like hello, women have been doing this for a long time. Like, and it's not that I'm anti-sympathetic to him. Like, I think that I'm sympathetic to the women who have to go through it too.
Everyone dies in Love Actually. You're okay with that.
Sorry?
But do it in this movie.
No one dies.
You like
in Love
Liam
Actually?
Neeson's wife is dead.
I like
and
that
you
dead.
Like, see, but why do you not like the dead in the...
No, I like the dead here.
You like the dead?
I like the dead here.
Right.
No, I just think that they try to complicate the tragedy of it all by adding a completely nothing storyline on top of it, by comparing like her backstory to what him and his children are going through, and like having those sort of like in parallel. It doesn't feel equally weighty to me.
Yeah, I don't.
This has come up before.
Yes, I'm a monster.
Yeah, and I would just say that.
Yes, soulless monster.
Some children don't recover from divorce. They do. That's a fact. I mean, they have they get on with their life. I'm not saying that they die or something. I'm just saying that it is, and the way she set it up was that it wasn't just your parents got divorced.
Yeah.
It was her and this close family bonding unit that meant the world to her, and then it fractured, and then, you see your parents fighting all the time, and you don't know where you belong anymore, and then you have to, as you said, like swallow that trauma and just get on with your life, and some people don't.
Yeah, I guess
It's just because you don't like Cameron Diaz.
No, that's not true, because I did like her in Charlie's Angels, and I do like her in a few other things. I don't like this character, and I don't think there's enough character work here, in my mind, to like they're just telling us things that they want us to infer. Like, instead of like presenting us with a genuinely complicated character, she just describes herself as complicated 3,000 times, and I think I think there's more to be done with that,
No, sure.
But
this was a Netflix special over 6 episodes.
But I do think like where they sort of start to get at like something really, really genuinely meaningful and moving, in this movie is the scene in the tent, like with her and the kids and Jude Law. I think that is really like just genuinely such a lovely moment where like instead of the script trying to tell us how to feel, they actually like show us. Like, they let the actors have nice moments, and I think a couple of things are improvised. Like, I feel like the kid farting is like I feel like that's a thing, just like that the kid did, and they sort of rolled with it and kept the cameras rolling. And when he like reaches for her hand, when the kid says the three amigos or three musketeers.
Three musketeers.
Three amigos would be a different family god.
That's
the three musketeers, like, and he reaches for her hand, and it's just, it doesn't have to be. No one's screaming at us to feel something. They're just letting us feel something. And I think that movie, the fact that it has that grace in this moment, actually makes me feel like more harshly towards other elements of the film.
But it's also a very quick timeline.
It happens so quickly.
Right?
I kept thinking, what day is it?
Yeah, like...
or day 3, and it's just like the amount of stuff they got done, and because didn't they exchange, like, how long was the exchange? 2 weeks
2
or
weeks.
1 week?
2 weeks, I think.
My God, the amount they accomplished in 2 weeks is humbling.
She taught a man to walk without his walker.
Yes.
She wrote him a speech.
Yes.
She helped another man get over his breakup.
Yes.
And then to convince him that he should come to London to spend New Year's. I do feel like an underachiever. I feel like these things might take months.
Yes.
So I feel like...
But it's the Santa Ana wins.
Yeah.
I just feel like that sometimes is, and I agree with you, like the show don't tell. It's really hard to get... You've got to move this thing along, right?
You've got to move it along, but I just think that there are a few like really sparkling moments throughout this thing, and they seem to not have the same sort. They're like, well, we've dropped these 3 moments of high quality.
Yeah.
We can skate the rest. It's fine because
Yeah,
we've got such like charming actors.
I don't think we should be
we nailed
discussing this like it's the latest Terrence Malick film or something, right? I mean, we know what we're doing.
Yeah, right? You know what you're getting
We
into
know
here.
what this is.
Terrence Malick might give us some pretty scenery, but he's not necessarily giving us a better storyline.
No.
Oh, you burnt.
But I'm gonna guess, and maybe I'm wrong on this because I don't know how the marketing business works in Hollywood. But I have a hard time believing that The Holiday came out for your consideration on a DVD.
They didn't shop it around.
Yeah,
to the...
I mean,
I bet they did for Golden Globes. I bet they
okay,
They're
Jack
like,
Black was
we
like,
have
come on.
we have Cameron Diaz and we have Kate Winslet. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've heard about these two,
yeah,
but the Golden Globes, we love them.
yeah. Well, okay, you're right. I mean,
Yeah, it's not going to their Academy Awards, but like it's definitely.
Yeah,
it's
they know
almost
their
so I could have
audience.
like that whole sort of role, like you're saying, as I could have almost seen like a Jennifer Aniston in this too, right?
Yeah. I could see
I
it
am-
fit perfectly.
Well, and thinking about that, like, so Kate Winslet said yes to this.
Uh-huh.
It's her only rom-com, according to these
Really?
notes by Andrea Gin.
I know, that surprised me.
And I thought that was really interesting because, like, and I do think that she's very good in it. Like, I think she has to be very broad in some of her, like, character moments, but, like, I think she's good, and I think she grounds it quite nicely. Like, was there just... I mean, was she just taking a paycheck, or was she just... I don't think she was. Like, I think there's something in this that she really identified with.
Yeah, I mean,
wonder.
it's sweet, and it's a lot of fun. But I want to ask the most important question: which house do you like more?
Oh, thank you for asking. I get me a little cottage in, Surrey. That felt cozy. And even just like, I know she was supposed to be like less, economically, fiscally responsible, but it's like, it was gorgeous in there. That Airbnb would be, booked for months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure, again, with the timeline being confusing. Was also confusing the distance to this pub and the high street and all that.
Yeah, because at first the cab, like
Yeah.
when she gets there, the cab's like, I can't drive.
I don't
you
even know
to
where
the
you are."
house. Yeah, you're on foot, lady.
Yeah.
And then from then on, she's able, like, everyone's coming and going, and
Yeah.
she's getting
Like,
around.
how does Jude get to the house to spend the night after the pub?
He
Does
makes
he,
it
like-
there and doesn't bother just peeing in public. Like, he makes it there just, like...
Yes, I found that to be, I don't know if you have discussed this before, but just the idea that he shows up at a stranger, like he knows her, obviously that's his sister, but there's a stranger staying there, and he just like he stays there too. I found that off-putting. I was like,
Well, he's
I know
supposed to be
he
very
was
drunk,
supposed to be
right?
very
Yes,
drunk. He
yes.
was very eloquent as a drunk man.
Yes.
He didn't
Yeah.
really seem that drunk, but just, I don't know. Everyone was okay with him being there, and I was like, that is my worst nightmare. Is a strange man comes to my door and is like,
But
I'm
what if
going
it was
to...
Jude Law?
You know what? Thank you for saying that. That is, funnily enough, my dream. And,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
I never
I'm-
answer the door, and
But I mean,
he's never.
I'm not
going
going to say you
standing
shouldn't
there.
have standards. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that they might shift.
They might shift.
He was
They
just
might.
looking for the sofa. She was like, you know what? Let's get that D.
Yeah.
Like, she
Yeah,
was
well,
in.
it's
She-
vacation,
and
right?
great. Good
Cameron
for her.
D.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, honestly. She just punched a man the day before.
Yeah.
And the next day, she's, like, riding Drew Law. Drew Law.
But I also-
Drew Law is less attractive.
I thought it was
Aw.
very, very
Num num.
sweet too. That I thought that there was a certain sweetness the way they talked after, and she was like worried she wasn't good at it
Oh,
because that man she'd
like,
been
come on,
with had
Cameron.
been so cruel.
Ugh.
And I
what
thought
a
that was
nightmare,
I
that
just
guy.
thought that was a
Edward
really
Burns.
interesting kind of thing to, like you're saying, like self-esteem. Even though she seems to be the one with the better self-esteem,
Yeah.
like how she'd made some bad choices and how she really. I mean, she's this really beautiful woman who, like, how bad can you be at sex if you really like it? I mean,
Yeah.
that's all the prerequisite,
guess-
really, right? I mean,
Yeah.
If you're just like, I only want to play corpse, like, that's probably not great for everybody.
yeah. It didn't sound like that's her, though.
yeah.
No.
She was just
No.
on her Palm Pilot.
Quick
just like-
question though about their initial kisses. When so she goes in for like the extra kiss, and then he goes for the extra kiss, and then and eventually he kisses her forehead, her closed eye.
yes.
She moans at the closed eye kiss. And then he finally hits her mouth. And I was like, you know what? That for me is not a just meet cute, showed up to holding my penis to pee on your doorstep. Like, it's been 5 minutes. Like, that for me is like, you're going to just like sort of make out with my face? That's like a third date, I think.
It was serious.
It was too much too fast. Like, I understand go have sex immediately, but the intimacy of kissing someone's closed eyelid and their face?
Well, one thing we are noting is that as much as you don't like certain things about Nancy Myers, she knows. I'm pointing at my head. She knows.
This is not a visual medium.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. She knows a lot about these little things that would get a woman.
Yeah.
I honestly do not think that that's my kink. It's
not a kink.
No,
it was
but
just it was just very slow and sweet, and it wasn't in a rush. It was like, I like all of you. It was like a.
But it's real instant. Like, again, they've known each other 5 minutes.
Well, he's good
like,
at this.
he literally forgot her name.
Yeah.
And which I thought was hilarious, actually, because that is something I would do. But I was like, oh, sorry, what is your name before we take off our pants?
An entire Seinfeld episode where he forgets the girl's name.
Yes. Yeah, no, but like, every time he says to her that she's the most interesting girl he's ever met, I just kept thinking, you're lying.
Yeah. In what way?
Why? He lives in that little town. That seems believable. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
It's a nice town. Like, didn't people seem good? Oh, though, you know what I do think, I believe? She has the most interesting outfits, because some of her outfits are glorious.
They're quite wild. But she's also a successful movie trailer woman.
No, that part's super interesting.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know why she wouldn't be the most. Like, how often does that show up in that town?
Yeah, but she hasn't told him that yet.
Oh, she hasn't?
No.
Oh, I forgot. Okay.
She hides that until later.
Well, then I might be likely to tell Jude Law you're the most interesting man that I've ever met without knowing anything about him either.
Sure.
If I thought that might be something that he would like to hear.
Can we talk about the green sweater she's wearing when she doesn't leave and is waiting in the pub for him? Like, when it's such a great sweater.
It's a perfect sweater. I'm a sweater fan.
Yeah, but how can you own so many great winter clothes living in Los Angeles and not a single pair of shoes that are appropriate?
Yeah. But I'm very thankful that there wasn't some scene in the movie where he goes, I'll get you some proper footwear.
Oh.
Because that is a very rom-com thing, too.
We would have had a makeover montage, though. That might have been fun.
Yeah, we would have. Where he takes her to the Marks and Spencer or something, gets her some proper undergarments.
Okay, I'm in again.
They cut the extended scene of their road trip to London, and
wrap that part up. But then we have to have an equal...
around in those Wellingtons, and,
right?
Trying the Kate Moss look. Yeah.
But then Kate has to give old man Arthur, a makeover as well. I want to see that montage.
We sort of do. I mean, they're trying on that suit in Hugo Boss, and it's such a cute suit.
It's sweet.
It's really sweet. It's really
and the
sweet.
friends and having the Hanukkah meal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how he just stays.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll come in. I don't know. You said something one time, too, because this fight has been ongoing. And I'm remembering certain things that have upset me that you said.
Sure, I know. Bring it up now, for sure.
And because I have a certain affection for him.
Oh, Jack Black?
I do. I like Jack Black a lot. He's a big metal fan, as am I. I've seen him in The Peck of Destiny. That was not his best role, I will tell you that. But I enjoyed it. I honestly, you were saying you didn't think he was a fair leading role for Kate Winslet.
No, I think I believe what I said was that this pairing seems to me that it is, again, continuing the lie of Hollywood that Kate Winslet is fat. And so they give her Jack Black as like the fat leading man that she deserves. I think Jack Black, it's great to have him as a leading man. I am 100% on board for that. Pair him with anybody. It's fine that he's doing it here too, but I think it's ultimately fundamentally a commentary on Kate Winslet typically because of this, like, honestly, the fact that people have thought she was fat for a long time is bizarre to me.
No, I just feel like the way they wanted her to meet someone who was genuinely really happy and friendly and sweet and smart, and he had that cute smile and that great scene in the video store where they're making all the jokes. I loved him. I would have fallen for all of that.
No, and I think that's fine. But what I'm saying is separate from, he's great and he's fine in it, and I think he's great as a leading man. I would like to see him have lots of romantic leads of varying different
He married
body
Shirley
sizes.
MacLaine in a movie, but that didn't turn out well.
It didn't turn out so well. But like of varying different like body shapes. Like it's not about body shaming Jack Black.
Yeah.
It's really just about thinking about how Hollywood has perceived Kate Winslet. And who, like, I mean, I understand, like, obviously Leonardo DiCaprio looks like a prepubescent 12-year-old in Titanic, but the fact that she is positioned all the time as being this, like, fat older woman in this, and, like, by James Cameron, not necessarily a lot of other people. But, like, for the longest time, people would be, like, describing Kate Winslet as curvy. Like, I grew up with magazines being like, what's your body shape? Kate Moss or Kate Winslet?
Oh.
That was the goal. Like, that was the like,
range.
two range
Oh my gosh.
that you could have of women's bodies. And I mean, there's not much to bless 2019 about, but like, thankfully we are sort of moving in a slightly different future.
Well, I didn't think of any of those things.
Yeah,
I
honestly,
think of those things.
I know,
because,
and I was not.
Yeah.
I know. I've never looked at Kate Winslet and thought that. I've read those things since then, but I did not.
I had the same thought. If anything, I was kind of on your side, but with just the fact that I thought Kate could do better than Jack Black. And I felt like it was an unfair pairing compared to Jude, Mr. Law here. But I didn't even think of that because I just don't even see her in that light.
Yeah, no.
You know?
No.
So it's interesting that it is true, though. She has been unfairly put in that light.
It's so bizarre to me because, like, even just this week, like, so with the photos of Kamal Nanjiani going around about how jacked he is and how like lucky Emily Gordon is now that like he's gotten.
Did they say that? I haven't heard that.
I've seen quite a few people say that. Good, Emily Gordon's so lucky now. Blah blah blah. And I just like I have never, and maybe this is fully evident by everything in my life, but I have never looked at a jacked body and thought, oh, that is so sexually attractive that I am now going to slide off my chair. That's just never been my thing. If someone is not, like, smart or, like, funny or, like, I need a combination of things.
So that's why Jack Black is so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I find him still veering into too much of his Jack Blackness for this, but I still like him, obviously. He's, like, fun and quirky and whatnot. But, I mean, he's obsessed with Shannon Sossaman.
Yes.
Like, for most of the film. So,
well,
I mean,
it's his girlfriend, so I don't think that's fair to say obsessed.
But he is, because his description of her, she's a beautiful actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it's still all, like, facade. And this is all, I'm so interested in, like, how people, like, talk about, like, the perfection of body as being the sort of main thing that gets people off. Because we consistently know that that's not true, because bodies do all kinds of different things all the time. And there's tons of people having great hot sex in the world that do not have these, like, sort of sculpted, weird, like, highly, like, marvelized bodies, you know?
Is it wrong that when I saw Camille, that picture of him, I was thinking, you would look so good in a shirt? Like, that was my, like, you know, like a nice polo shirt. You know how men that are, like, that old sort of physique of the 50s?
Yeah, that kind of cut in. Yeah, like very 50s, like very Mad Men.
Right.
Men.
You know, they had that sort of, like, the polo shirt tucked into those high-waisted pants, but it really hugged their, like, upper body.
It's more like a discreet peeking out little muscle, you know, you
Yeah.
can flex a bit and you're like, excuse me.
And I'm like, I just was looking at him and I feel like I just put a shirt on.
It's too much.
It's too, I don't need to see the individual.
Yeah.
And so fair enough, that picture was not for me.
Yeah.
And I think he got what he needed from it, which is to show everyone that I really care about this superhero movie I'm in.
Well, and I mean, he's been very frank about saying, like, things, you know, he's like, Marvel paid for me to get this body.
Yeah.
We'll see how long
does
that
that
lasts.
work?
Right. Yeah.
Because Marvel gives him, like, personal trainers and, like, chefs and all these things.
I would
like,
fail so spectacularly. There's no way I'd keep that up.
if they're giving you, like,
Right,
probably,
as soon
like,
as we wrap.
I guess
20 million, you're
maybe there.
You're probably going to be,
If 20 million was,
I
like,
mean,
sitting right there for sure.
But I
That's
mean,
a
that's like,
motivator.
and that's just like a whole much broader conversation around diet culture and the, like,
Oh, no, I know. And
expectations
that's
of-
what, yes.
Yeah, like,
yes.
there's a whole other.
Plus, it's, you know, it was a
piece of it.
personal challenge for him. It's a whole other role. I mean, I think he also feels a certain responsibility of being like a really hot brown man, because that has also been an issue sometimes in Hollywood, right?
True enough.
That's not your part. You're not the hot guy. And in The Big Sick, I know he was the leading man, but that was.
Yeah.
That he was the sad Uber driver, really.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just like, I'm so ready for a future. And again, maybe these are roles that I'm just going to have to become a screenwriter. That's fine. wherein we can say that like someone is super hot and a super hot leading man and is Jack Black.
Yeah.
And they have a super hot leading girl who is, say, Melissa McCarthy. And those are super hot people who are allowed to just be super hot because they are super cool and super funny and super attractive.
Yeah.
All unto themselves.
Isn't that what the
Goes
new?
without
I
saying
haven't
at
seen
that
it yet, and people say it was quite good. Is that new rom-com with Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen?
Oh, I haven't seen it
I
either.
saw it.
Oh.
And that's not.
It's not good?
No, it's good. It's funny.
Oh.
Like it's not that.
But isn't that what they're
it was
exploring,
last-
the imbalance
it was last
of the-
December.
Yeah. The imbalance of their looks or whatever.
Well, they're exploring the imbalance of the looks, but I mean, let's face it, we've seen tons of TV and tons of movies wherein a hot woman.
Oh,
is
that
paired with,
yeah,
like,
no, that's a boring
Those are
trope. I agree
all of
with you.
Adam Sandler's
Yes.
movies.
Exactly.
Yeah,
no,
no.
that's not, Kevin James has a whole
Yeah,
career.
no, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But the way that it,
But they talk about it, and that was the difference
they
to me.
do talk about
Because everyone
it.
else is just like, this is
yeah.
normal, everyone. This is called
Yeah,
evolution.
they
And
do-
you're like, I don't know.
They do
wait a
talk about it, but that movie is interesting to me because it is funny, and I think it's I understand why people really liked it, but what I saw from it is that it's still fundamentally a movie in which a very driven woman is educated about how and why it should be that she slows down by like a man is telling her how to like fix her life and value what's
It's
important.
knocked up again.
Oh.
It is knocked up, but like in a slightly different pivot, you know, and it's not as progressive, I think, as people like imagined it was
Okay.
for me. And it's still
Like
funny.
The Holiday.
The Holiday, yes, it's the bastion of
Groundbreaking,
progressiveness.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, is there like a particular moment in The Holiday, like you being so new to it? Is there a particular moment in The Holiday where you felt truly like moved?
Oh. I mean, the tent scene was when I actually felt like there was some genuine like human connection that I was like, oh, that's sweet. That's lovely. Where I wasn't exactly being told. But beyond that, like I liked all the stuff with Arthur too, just because it was different, you know, and I appreciate just because I felt like even just the romantic connections of the two love interests, Jack Black and Jude Law, it just felt forced. I didn't quite get it. So none of that felt genuine to me, but everything in the periphery of that felt lovely. Like her connection to Arthur was,
Yeah.
and every moment in that scene, like I felt like was a movie that was more interesting to see. Because I feel like I get the formula now. So I anticipate everything and I kind of see it happening and I get it. And I'm not surprised by it. You know, it's the Cameron Diaz is just like a workaholic and, you know, and then sad woman and then love and, you know, like it's like I see it and I recognize it and I watch it play out. So those moments were where I felt like I was watching something kind of slightly newer than I'd seen before.
Yeah, like, and I think like the love story being between Iris and Arthur is kind of like a nice little moment.
But I'm glad you
It's
never
just
lunged
nice.
at her. Or
Oh,
something.
God, no.
I was
mean-
kind of secretly a little bit worried that was
Yeah,
gonna be
me
a
too.
thing.
I was worried
Right?
too.
Oh,
Is
I
that
know.
what does that
Me
say
too.
something about
We
us?
just
No,
know,
like, is
it
this
just-
gonna get
'cause it
creepy
happens.
soon?
How many times have we been friends with a much older man and they've made it weird?
Yeah.
Literally, yes.
Yes.
Literally,
Yes.
yes.
Sucks.
Yes. And
Yeah.
you think you're friends, and then all of
Yep.
a sudden, yeah.
They're like, I just had heart surgery, but I'm ready to go in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been on the receiving end of that conversation, and I hate it. I don't
Yeah,
like
no,
it at all.
No, that's why I was a bit worried too.
I was worried.
But
Thank you
then
for bringing that, 'cause I was
they
like,
were bringing that up with his wife, and
Yeah.
it still seemed. And I thought she's really pushing this, and we can
Yeah.
feel comfortable. Like you
Yeah.
can feel your insides go. Oh,
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
no.
One of the interesting things that, again, lovely producer Andrea Gin noted, Love Actually opened in 2003, and it had like pretty good critical reviews. Like it was well reviewed critically. Holiday, not so much. Terrible reviews. Is it just because Love Actually uses the lens of men? And is it because The Holiday is about women?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Thank you. You hit it.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're even bringing up storylines that are similar
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
'Cause
both,
it's
right? But
essentially-
it's a serious movie when it's men having problems.
Exactly.
In a female movie, they're just hysterical harpies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right?
Who just
That-
needs more men to
Yes.
solve their men problems.
Yes.
You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was like,
You know what? You know what I've
interesting.
always found when I'm having a problem with a man? why not add 2 or 3 into the situation?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
That'll resolve. It's totally fine. How does it feel like watching the movie in the middle of a heartbreak? Because I haven't done that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably why I had no sympathy for all the Kerri. I was just like, oh, grow up. Come on,
Close
get
your
over
heart
it.
now.
Right? I was like, "Ugh. He's not into you. Move on. I did a lot of yelling. Again, I was indulging in some wine. So
you suddenly turned into Liz Lemon.
right? Yeah, it was a sad. I became the sad woman by the end of that movie/bottle. I was like, I don't want to paint that picture, but she was a bummer.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you just want more. I don't know. I just wanted these women to not, and I have this complaint with most rom-coms in general, but I just wanted these women to like find themselves beyond the structure of these men kind of literally showing up at their doorstep. Do you know what I mean? Like they came to escape, and it's like, you can't escape the men.
Yeah.
They will find you, even in like a little cottage in the middle of nowhere. It's like they'll show up. So I didn't love that storyline,
but devil's advocate here, which I'm agreeing with you, but isn't this a movie that was setting up that they were ready for love and real love, but they just hadn't found it, and they needed to go to different places to find themselves, and then once they found themselves, they could find the love they wanted. And I mean, I'm not a person that's all like, the best thing that could happen to you is falling in love, but we've had this conversation about rom-coms too. We also said once, but that's okay too.
Yeah.
If you really would love to be in love.
Yeah.
We don't want to be that person that's like, well, you're an idiot, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that either. And so this movie is, it's complicated.
Okay. Oh,
How dare
Wow.
you? How
I'm
dare you,
sorry.
Lisa?
Don't
My
you
God.
indulge
But
that.
yeah, I mean, when you
Yeah.
just allow yourself to, you're saying that that's what they really wanted.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's good for us to think about women, I don't know.
And to be fair, and I think that's probably what I'm bringing, that energy of being, within a breakup right now. I'm just like, oh, there's got to be more. And arguably, that's how most rom-coms start out. So maybe in a month I'll,
See?
Jude Law will show up at my doorstep and I'll change my tune. But it was just kind of like, I didn't feel like they quite found themselves just yet. But I know that, I get the,
They only had 2 weeks.
Exactly. I get the conventions of film. It's like,
a little,
you gotta
little more time.
need a little bit more
Yeah.
time in the cooker. I just wanted them to eat, pray, love a bit more before the
it's
love.
because
A little more
yes.
eating, a little bit more
Yes.
praying.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think it's because we get to at least see Iris and Arthur sort of working off of each other
Yeah.
and working through something. Whereas what I think what we don't get to see so much is that Amanda and Jude Law they do take a bit of a break. Like, there's a few days where they don't see each other, and she's walking up a hill, she's reading a book, and she's having a bath. And that's not the same as like seeing like someone really sort of like thinking about their place in the world the same way that we get to see Iris do the work. So I think Amanda gets shortchanged a fair little bit here and there in this movie.
That's fair.
Yeah. I can't even believe it, but we have come near the end of our time.
Oh, no.
I know.
I've got 2 more hours in me.
2 more.
Just on this movie. Our discussion will actually be longer than the movie.
That's perfect.
Well, I'll cry at the end.
So we always ask, does this movie pop?
Does it pop? I will say yes.
Nice.
I'll say yes.
Nice.
Okay.
It does pop. Given,
that's a hard
where this
turn.
could
I
have
like
gone,
it.
I'll give it that pop.
I do grow to like aspects of it more every year. So I'm going to say, like, last year, maybe I said it was like a half pop. I'll go 3/4 pop this year.
I'm just popping all the time.
I know. You pop off on this all the time. Yeah, it's great. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. We also love to leave our episodes on something we recommend and something we're into. So what do you got for us, Kerri?
Well, I would like to mention 2 things.
Yes,
One
please.
is, per my heartbreak right now, I'm very heavily into Lana Del Rey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, if you haven't listened to her new album, which has been released. Like, it's been out for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
So this isn't a new thing.
This is Norman F. and Rockwell?
F and Rockwell, yeah.
Yeah.
It's lovely, beginning to end, and you can drink it in like a good Merlot, and it just it hits and it slaps. It's very good.
Have you listened to Melodrama?
Yes,
Like that's a good one also
It's a good
for
one,
like
too.
a breakup atmosphere.
Yes.
If you want atmosphere and
Yes.
like ballroom
Moody,
dancing.
Yeah, with a little bit of ballroom. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one's good too.
Yeah.
So that one's found its way into my ear holes, and I do recommend if you're going through anything this holiday season or post, give that a whirl. And then the other one for the lighter side, the comedian in me, the sketch performer in me. This one's been out for a while as well. If you have not seen it, I recommend this to everyone. It's Tim Robinson's I Think You Should Leave.
yeah.
Oh, so good.
Love
It
that.
is
So good.
like
So
it's
funny.
It's rare that I enjoy a good sketch comedy show, and this actually inspires me anew in the form. It's so good, and it's just ridiculous silliness. And if sketch isn't for you, Detroiters is his.
I watched some of that.
Yeah, it has been canceled, so
Yeah.
you're only going to get the one season, but it's just lovely.
And the other guy from Veep.
Yes, who is Sam Richardson.
Yeah, very
who is
funny.
so charming and
So
lovely, and they
charming,
just
yeah.
have such a lovely relationship. So that's for if you're not going through a thing and you just want to, or you are and you want some lols, hit that. Like you don't always have to cry, but a good cry feels good.
It does.
Take that, Cameron Diaz.
Thank you, Kerri. Lisa, what about you?
I'm just going to go back to April. A podcast I have just been getting into now is Lost Notes, Jessica Hopper's podcast. And I heard this episode recommended and really enjoyed it. It was called Teenage Offenders, Reckoning with a Punk Past. So that is a man who is going back to the punk rock lyrics he wrote in the late 70s when he was 17. And they have not aged well.
Yep.
And he is dealing with his own personal feelings about why would I write that? Like, what was I thinking that this would be appropriate? And he has daughters now. So he goes back to meet the singer when they were in the band together and to kind of work through, like, what happened to me, what happened to you. Anyway, it would almost make a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really, have you listened to that?
I haven't listened to it yet, but I've got it on my phone.
Yeah.
It's ready to go.
So it's a terrific podcast, and that episode really was just, really got me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. I would like to also recommend a podcast. Now, it is a podcast I've recommended before, but they're doing a special series right now, and it's so freaking good that I'm recommending it again. It's called You're Wrong About, and it's a podcast by two journalists who are friends. They dig into past sort of pop culture and news moments and different phenomenons like that have really been hyped by the media or misinterpreted by the media or literally lied about by the media. And they course correct our misinformation around it. So they are doing a series on O.J. Simpson and the trial and the murder of Nicole Brown. And it's like we're only 4 parts into it. They've barely made it to the trial yet. There's probably so much more to go.
Lots of Kardashians.
There's a bit of Kardashian, not a lot mentioned, but Sarah Marshall is the one doing the storytelling, and Mike is the one listening and asking questions about it, and it's so good and it's so captivating, and just the way that they both approach sort of journalism is with a lot of compassion and objectivity and a lot of grace. And it's really lovely to hear people talk about, why a carceral system is not always the right thing and still have a complicated conversation around domestic violence, the failures of the police, racism, and O.J. Simpson.
Wow.
It's great.
That is
going on there?
quite a review.
It's
Yeah,
great.
I'm in.
It's really great. So thank you so much Kerri for joining us.
Thank you.
God.
That was very
having
fun.
me.
And thank you for taking on the holiday. I mean, that's a
Absolutely.
big ask. It's
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
an annual event.
Yeah.
It was. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. And
thrilled.
what a treat.
If people want to find you, where should they find you?
Ooh. I should have had this ready. So it's December. January, you can check out, I do 2 monthlies. I don't exactly remember the dates, but I believe January 11th, I do a show with my writing partner and also my podcast partner, Ali Entwistle, Brunch Comedy. You can find us at Little Mountain Gallery at 8 p.m. We do sketch and improv. It's very fun. Or you can check out Nasty Women. We do a show every third Thursday at the Biltmore Cabaret. And I don't know the date on that, but you can find it on
Third
their
Thursday.
schedule, right? You
Yeah,
know,
that's
just
good.
count to 3 and
To
Thursday,
score
Thursday,
in 5
Thursday.
days.
We
You know,
can-
it's like that. We measure time that way.
Easy peasy,
Yeah.
right? Thank you.
100% measure time that way.
all collectively
Happy
measure
New
it.
Year's to everybody. I hope
Yay.
you're having
2020. What a weird thing to keep
Hope
saying.
you're having a nice time. Thank you so much for listening and joining us all the time. You're just lovely people.
Yeah.
You could rate and review us. We can't review you personally, but you
love
can
you.
do it to us. We do love you. 5 stars. You could email us at popthiscollective@gmail.com.
And we recorded at the Vancouver Public Library. Our producer is Andrea Gin. And yeah, hope it's a good New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I feel like I'm signing an annual. Have a good summer.